There you are. Welcome once again to the subterranean hidey hole. I am down here once again in Casa de Baker, in the depths, in the bowels. There's the world map back there. It is no longer quite accurate, although it's so old that Latvia and Lithuania are now back into play. And like that. Although the USSR in its current configuration does not exist. But I digress. I am here once again. It's a Friday night and just did a little workout. This area here, that's where I do my aerobics and other stuff, you know, manly things. Lifting and sweating and heaving and stuff I really don't want to talk about because I'm not one of those people. But here we are, and what I've got for you on audio cassette, I'm going to look over here this time, is something that me and a few guys did, and those guys would be Bob Enninger, Kurt LaRue, Joe Vermillion, and myself, and this has got to be close to 30 years ago, and it is as timely today as it was back then. It's all about people who homeschool their kids. People who homeschool their kids. And their kids may miss out on some of the finer points of life, like, well, learning how to be rotten kids if they are not mingling with the riffraff on a day-to-day basis. So we came up with this parody. It's not even a parody of anything else. It's just something we came up with at Bob's house one day, probably on a weekend, because we would get together and watch stupid movies like The Naked Gun series and, let's see, Amazon Women from the Moon. That was always a good one. Always made us chuckle and laugh and giggle and occasionally snort. But so we wrote this up and put it together, and here it is for your listening enjoyment. And I know a few people in particular will really get a kick out of this. How it came about is I have a friend, or at that time I had a friend who they were homeschooling their kids, and their kids were doing rather well, and I didn't see any real drawbacks except for the burden on the parents who had to sacrifice to become the teacher, but the kids did really well in their studies. So anyway, without further ado, here is what I like to call, I don't know what I call it. The official title for this is, as I read it's the International Institute for Vocabulary Delinquencies. And I shall play it for you now. Push the magic button.
Are you one of the many parents who have decided to homeschool your children? Are you pleased with how your children are constantly excelling in their academics, outpacing other kids their age, being accepted to the most prestigious universities in the country? If you are one such parent, you're also aware that your children are not getting a chance to mingle with the neighborhood riffraff on the playground, robbing them of certain social graces that so many see as needed for survival in society today. That's why we here at the International Institute for Vocabulary Delinquencies feel it's imperative that your children not be robbed of a life of spewing forth foul utterances, whether in a time of crisis or just to get their point across. Many of our correspondence course graduates have gone on to be successful business executives, politicians, national sports figures, over-the-road truck drivers, correctional facility inmates, and Hollywood screenwriters. Our correspondence course shows you how you can take a simple sentence like, "Hey, come on, bug off, you guys," and turn it into a heat-of-the-moment outburst of thoughtlessness.
"All right, you knock that off, or I'll beat the living out of you. Understand me, you sorry?"
Yes, why deprive your offspring of a dismal and unrewarding future? Write the International Institute for Vocabulary Delinquencies today and ask for Beginner's Course Number 1. Guess what I heard on the playground? Act now and you'll also receive at no additional cost 24 bite-sized bars of fresh scent soap. Don't delay, call now. 1-800-278 or write International Institute for Vocabulary Delinquencies, Post Office Box 66, Salt Lake City, Utah 8950.
And there you have it. We thought that was kind of funny. But then again, it doesn't take much to entertain us. We watched the Naked Gun movies and Amazon Women from the Moon. So that's our level of sophistication. Anyway, there you have it. And I know that a couple of people come to mind that I figured would enjoy this little bit of whatever it was. And I think they're probably chuckling right now. And if they aren't, I have failed. I've failed you. I've failed. But let's hope that didn't happen. All right, that's about it from here, from the depths of the Casa de Baker, which is so appropriate because today is Cinco de Mayo, or as Barack Obama used to call it, Cinco de Quattro. But again, not the sharpest knife in the drawer. And again, I digress. But that's it. And that's all we got from here.